Hey everybody, welcome back to Heart Breathing. So I thought since it's a Sunday and we are 1 week away from starting NaNoWriMo that I would walk you through my Preptober Planner that I have available for you to download for free. And my little spider friend is kind of hanging out here. And I'm going to show you basically how I use not only the November plan to track my time, but also how I use the word count trackers and the little game board and everything that I have set up here. So if you have downloaded this or you would like to grab it, there's a link down below where you just sign up for my newsletter, and I will actually send you a link to download all of my free stuff, including my how to plot a novel workbook, my editing a novel, how to write a series, tons of word count trackers and other things, and I'm consistently adding to that resource library. And of course, you can get the Preptober Planner for free. So sign up now and grab that, and let's get started. Something you may not know is I have a second channel here on YouTube that is for more of my fans of my books, and we are currently doing a 13-day Halloween spooktacular to count down and celebrate 10 years since I published my first novel. And one of the big reveals this week was a brand new logo, and so I wanted to just kind of show off my cool logo, which is why I've also chosen these sort of logo specific colors for today. I'm just really celebrating these 10 years because it has been such an awesome journey. 26 novels. I just put my 27th novel up on pre-order. So it's been quite the journey, and NaNoWriMo has been a big part of that. So I am excited to write my 28th novel, hopefully for Nano this year. So let me show you the inside of this planner. Okay, so first we have just a little sign that you can put up that says I am a writer, so feel free to hang that up so you remind yourself that you are actually a writer. Just for showing up, you are a writer, and you can call yourself an author, you can call yourself a writer because you are there. A little note from me as well. I've kind of gone through this already, so I will link my Preptober playlist, but this is a checklist to get ready for Nano, and as you go through it, you can kind of fill these in or just hit a check mark there once it is done. But the fun stuff that we start to get into here is planning your time for the month of November and then planning out your kind of word count path. So I'm going to do the best I can to explain this process to you. So one of the first things that I do when I start prepping for any novel plan or my 90-day planning or anything else is I take a look at the time that I think I have, and then I start to get really realistic about it. In the month of November, we have 30 days, but unless you are planning to write an equal amount of words every single day for 30 days, you might want to really customize your plan for you. So this gives you a chance to do it. So I, for example, am probably not going to write on Thanksgiving Day, so I'm going to mark that day off. And then we are going to Disney as a family. It will be our first and only family vacation for the year on the 30th, and probably that means I'm not going to write on the 29th either. So first thing I do is always mark off the days that I know I'm not going to write. So for you, that might be, well, you work all week and you know you're going to take Saturdays off every day. Or it might mean that you take all 5 days of the week off, but you're going to write extra on the weekends. But you can really tailor your plan to your own needs and to your own schedule. So first thing, you mark off the days you know you're not writing. Then step 2 is to choose whether or not you want to add any what I call buffer days or sick days. So this is days that you kind of want to build into your schedule as buffer days so that you can make sure that your word count is high enough that if you have to take a day off because you had a migraine or you weren't feeling well or something like that, you can take the day off without feeling guilty and without getting behind. So that's what a buffer day is. I am taking 3 days off this month, and I've already marked those, but I'm also going to give myself 2 buffer days. So if you want to, you can kind of schedule those buffer days in on the calendar if you want, or you can just leave them blank, and I'll show you what to do in a minute. I personally am just going to kind of go ahead and mark these 2 days off for visual reference and assume that I'm going to try my best to actually hit my novel deadline by the 25th. We will see. It probably won't work out that way, but that's kind of like best case scenario. So total days off now is I'm taking 5 days off. 3 of them are scheduled days off. 2 of them are buffer days built in. And if I end up taking it on November 6th and the 16th instead, that's fine. I just know I have to write these 2 days. Then the total writing days in November is starting with 30, but I'm taking 5 off. So I'm going to move this number over here and say 30 minus 5 means that my total writing days for the month is only 25. When you start the month thinking you have a full 30 days, but then you actually don't realistically have that much time, you are going to set your word count too low. So then you're going to hit this last week of Nano and you're going to be like, holy majoli, I have to write like 3 times my word count in order to hit it because I ended up taking all these days off that I didn't get to write. So this sets you up in the beginning with a higher word count goal. NaNoWriMo technically takes that 50,000 word goal and divides it evenly by 30 and gives you an average daily word count target of 1,667 words. But if you're not going to be writing some of these days, you're going to have to set a higher word count goal for yourself. So this is why we do this process. In this next step, you're going to divide 50,000 words, or if you're setting a higher target than 50,000 for Nano, you're going to take your total word count target for the month and you're going to divide it by the total number of writing days. Now I had to grab my Hello Kitty calculator because usually I would use my phone, but I'm recording with it. I am actually going to set a target of 60,000 words in the month of November. So I'm going a little bit higher than the 50K and I'm dividing it by 25 days because I only have 25 writing days. So that means that my daily ideal word count target is actually 2,400 words. So you can see if I started out only writing 1667 a day, I'm going to end up thousands of words short by the end. So this is the best way. So you take your total goal, 50,000 or whatever it is, divided by this number here, your total days, and that'll give you your word count target. So if I had only 50,000 and 25 days, I would be trying to write 2,000 words a day. That sets you up for a more realistic schedule. That way, if you end up not taking these buffer days, then you end up ahead. And hey, you can just like chill out for the last couple days of Nano. But most of the time, people end up behind. And part of that is because they don't plan ahead of time. So for me, I'm setting a 2,400 a day word count target. The next sheet I have here is kind of the same thing, but it depends if you're going to be following that 1667 a day or if you're going to do a custom word count target. So we're just going to look at this first sheet real quick. So on this page, you can write your book title. So you just write your title up here at the top and it already has it filled in with a 50,000 word count goal. Then what I have here is the date is in the first column. And you can see I've extra highlighted the 15th and the 30th. So you've got the halfway point and then the finale day. Then you've got your daily word count target. For the just average word count, if you're following the Nano target, it's 1667 a day every single day. Then you also have a blank section that says my words and then plus or minus. Then you have a total word count target. So the first one is your daily word count target, your daily words you wrote and how far above or below your target you are. Then you've got a total so far in the month. So for example, if we move down here to the 15th, your target for the day is 1,667 words. Then what you would write here is, let's say you wrote 1,500 words for the day. You would write your daily total. Then in the plus or minus column, you write how far above or below your daily target you were. So you take that 1,667, subtract 1,500, and you end up with you're basically negative 167 words for the day. This just gives you an idea of which days you got ahead, how far above you are for each day. Then the next column here tells you that by day 15, you should be 25,005 words in. Now in this next blank column, instead of just writing the days, here you want to write how far in your total manuscript you are. So let's say you're actually 26,147 by this day. So then the next plus or minus would be figuring out how far ahead of your daily count goal you are or behind. So in this case, with these numbers, you would be 1,147 words ahead. So that gives you a daily glance at how far ahead, not only for the days, but for the whole month total. Then you've got a section here where you can leave some notes. So maybe here you might be like, yay, got ahead, you know, something like that. Or you might say, had a headache, didn't do too well today, or extra writing sprints with my friend, and you can leave notes for the month. So basically this is a good way to keep track of not only how you're doing every day, but it gives you really good data on how you did each day and then how you are doing total. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good glance at it. This one's pretty easy. Just remember that these first columns are for each day, whereas this second set of columns is for the month total so far, so the cumulative total. When you get into this custom one, however, this is where you have to put in a little bit of math. The sheet works the same way, but this is where you can kind of customize it. So my goal, I told you, is 60,000 words. And so my daily target technically is 2,400 words a day. What I could do is I would go in here and I would mark off these days when I said I wasn't going to be writing, remember? So I already had on my calendar that I wasn't going to write on Thanksgiving Day, so I'm just going to mark that day off, and I'm not going to write the last 2 days of the month because I'm going on vacation. So I'm going to mark those days off, they don't count. I'm also adding in a couple of buffer days, so when it comes to this kind of target, I'm just going to include those last 2 buffer days kind of down here at the bottom. So for me, I'm going to try to hit my target of 60,000 words by the 25th. And if I wanted to, I could put kind of like a little star here to remind myself of that. Now, this is also where I could customize things depending on how I wanted to do it. So I could put in a daily target of 2,400 words every single day, and that would get me to my goal. But I might also want to go in and identify, say, the weekend days. So if I wanted to actually write like double the word count on the weekends, then I could identify like this is a Sunday and then this is a Saturday, Sunday, or whatever it is, and say I know that I'm going to be writing extra those days, so I'm going to add my target word count to be a little bit higher on those days. So you can really customize your daily target as long as you're holding it to that 60,000 word count goal. Customize it as much as you want. For me, I'm just going to stick to that 2,400 word count goal per day and just hope that I can stay on target and catch up anywhere I can. So I am going to fill in this 2,400 all the way down to be my daily word count target for every day of the month. Okay, so now that I've filled that in, I don't know my words until I get to the actual day of doing it, but the next thing I need to fill out is this total monthly cumulative one. So the way I do that is I just say 2,400 for the first day, since that's my first, and then I take my day 1 and add it to my day 2. So if you had custom word count targets here, all you have to do is say day 1 plus day 2, which is going to be 4,800 in my case. Then you take your cumulative day 2 and add day 3 to it. So you just continue to do that. On my calculator here, I'm just going to do 2,400 plus 2,400 equals, and then equal it again, and that gives me my next word count, and so on. So I'll just stop right there to show you that by the time I get to the 15th, if I had been following this daily nano word count, like the official word count, then I should be at 25,005. But that would be a good 11,000 words short of where I need to be to finish my particular novel and my goal for the month based on the days I'm taking off and the length of my novel. So you can see here why it's so important to really plan ahead, because if I hadn't done that, I would be 11,000 words short and pretty much have no way of catching up by the end. So according to my custom word count goals here, I'm hoping to hit that 60K goal by the 25th. And I am gonna just go ahead out to the side here, and I'm gonna make a couple of notes. I'm not gonna mark it over here yet because I want that to be like after the fact, but I'm just gonna make some notes for myself that this day on the 7th is called Double Down Day in my Word Sprint group, which you are welcome to come join, by the way. It's linked in the comments down below or in the description box. where we challenge ourselves to write double your word count target every month on the first Saturday. So the 7th, I believe, is the first Saturday. Then on the 20th through the 22nd, we will be doing a virtual writing retreat those 3 days. So that will be my chances, like my 2 big chances in the month to kind of catch up and maybe go ahead. So I wanted to just mark that that is coming up because I'm going to be using this kind of custom word count tracker. And then all I have to do is every day put in my actual word count for the day, whether I got above or below the 2,400, and then put in my cumulative total so far in my whole manuscript and whether I'm ahead or behind on the total, and then any notes that I want to keep for the day. Next, in the Preptober Planner, we have this kind of game board, and I did one like this last year as well. So you can see here that this one is customized for a 50K win. In the resource library, if you go to the folder that's titled, I think, NaNoWriMo, there is a game board from last year that allows you to set a goal all the way up to 100,000 using the same game board, but with 100 different squares instead of just 50. So if you have a higher word count goal than 50,000, then you might want to go grab that one. But let me show you how to fill this one out. So the little game board around the edges goes to 50, and then you have one for your winning square. And then the little boxes on the inside are basically set up like the month: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way to the 30th. Each block here has the official NaNoWriMo target underneath. So 1667 is the official target for day 1. Day 2 is 3334. If you want to use your own custom word count target, you can just take some white out and you can white that out and add in your own. So for me, I would go in and put my 2400 and then over here 4800 and so on for my target. So as you go through the month, on top here, you want to write your daily word count total. On the bottom, you want to write your cumulative total. So there's basically three aspects of each block. Underneath, you have your cumulative target, and then you have an above and below the line. So let's say on day 2, I wrote 2,300 words exactly. So I would write my actual word count target for the day on the top, and then my total word count target for the month so far, so my cumulative total. So let's say I wrote only 1,000 words on day 1, so now my total manuscript is at 3,300 words. Then I can look at this number down here and I can see if I'm ahead or behind on my target, because this bottom number and this number below should be the same, or you should be ahead to be on target. Then what I do around the edges here is, let's say I hit that 3,300, then I can color in these blocks. So I've got a 1, I've got the 2, now I've also completed over 3,000 words. When I get to 4,000 words, I can clear this one out as well. So you would start to fill in this game piece. I like to do this with colored pencil, and I'll do a different color for each day so that I can kind of see my day target in different colorful game board all the way through. But it's just really cool. So just telling you again, the number at the bottom is your cumulative target for the day. That's how far you want to be in your manuscript when you get to this day. On top of the line, you write the number of words you completed that day. So if you wrote 1,524 words today, you write 1,524. The part below the line is where you write how far you are in your book so far. So if I wrote 3,300, I would add my day 2 total to my day 3 total, and that would give me a cumulative total of 4,824 so far. Then I can compare that to my goal for the month so far and see that I'm a couple hundred words behind. And that is how you fill out this game board. Like I said, I do have one like this that goes all the way to 100,000 and allows you to put in your own target numbers. So feel free to grab that out of the resource library as well. Then the final kind of word count tracker that I have here for you is just 2 pages that you can use. And let me show you real quick how to fill this out. So again, you write your book title, you write your goal here, and then you have basically 4 different columns that have 4 columns each. So in the first one, you fill out today's date. So let's say we're starting on the 1st. Then you write your current sprint. So this is assuming that you're writing in sprints, and I like to set maybe 20-minute timer. So if you wanted to over here, you could say that these are 20-minute sprints if you wanted to indicate the time underneath. Then you would write at the end of the sprint how many words you wrote. So let's say I wrote 450 words in my first sprint. That means my total so far for the day is 450. And since I just started my novel, my total for the whole novel is 450. Then I'm still on day 1, so I'm not going to write the date again, but this is my second sprint. And if you want, you could number them for the day, like you're going to do 5 sprints, so you could have 5 for the day. And let's say I wrote another 400 words. So then I would add, for today's total, would be 850. So you're kind of adding them together here. So you've got your current sprint, your total for the day so far, and then your total for the entire book. So let's say we keep going down, and here we ended up with, another 400, but because of these, let's say we ended up with 2350 words so far for the day. That gives us 2350 so far for the novel. Then that's where I leave it for day 1, and I come back on day 2, and I'm going to mark the date here and say now I'm starting on day 2. And let's say I switched it up and I decided to do 15-minute sprints. I could mark it out to the side. You write your current sprint, so if you want to number them, you can. I like to do it so I can see exactly how many I did per day. So let's say I did only a 15-minute sprint, so I got 300 words. Then I'm going to start back with just today's total. So I'm not adding anything because this is my first sprint of the day. So this is today's total. But then the overall total is adding yesterday's to today. So that gives me now 2650 so far in my total manuscript. So this first column is the current sprint. The second column is how many words you've written so far today. And then this third column here, or fourth technically, is for your overall total in your manuscript. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I know it's a little bit like a lot of different numbers, but for me, this helps me see at a glance. And sometimes what I like to do is I will take a colored pen and I will actually section off the days like this, or I will go out to the side and do like this so that I can see at a glance. Sometimes I will do this with a colored pencil, how many sprints I got per day, and I can kind of section them off this way. But this final total one, you should see going up and up and up until you hit those 50,000 words. And I think maybe there's like 20 or 25 sections here to do over 100 sprints. And if you need to, you can always print these again and use them as many sprints as you need to hit your goal. Then we have a novel in progress do not disturb sign that you can hang on your door if you need to. And I showed this in one of my previous videos, but I also have a rewards planner here. And I always like to go in with some washi tape and kind of decorate my pages just a little bit of blinging them up. And I will put stickers on here. But basically you can write, if you have a reward set for yourself at 10,000 words, a reward for 20, a reward for 30, 40, and then maybe a big reward for when you hit that 50,000 word count goal. I am going to 60,000 words, so I'm going to actually add another reward on here for if I hit that 60K. Then I also do have a little sign here that says give yourself permission to suck that you can hang up so that you can remember Nano is not about perfectionism. It's about turning off that inner editor and just getting those words on the page. And the final thing here, besides just some little notes pages, is a space for creating a list for all your tools. Like if you want to have some certain kinds of pins or washi tape or index cards that you want to use for your prep, you can list it all there. But that is an inside look at the Preptober Planner and how you can use it throughout the month of November to keep track of your word count goals and to stay on target with where you are so far for the month compared to where you're supposed to be. So I hope that you enjoy this, and of course you can use those trackers for any novel that you're writing throughout the year. So feel free to download those and use them, all the time. We will have one final Preptober video coming up this next Thursday, which will be about what to do during during Nano if you get stuck and you're behind and you can't figure out how to move forward with your novel. I'm gonna have some good tips for you there. Then please make sure, if you've been enjoying these videos, that you not only subscribe and like this video, but also that you comment down below and share this video with a friend that you know is going to be participating in NaNoWriMo this year as well. That sincerely helps my channel and I would very much appreciate it. I will be doing a very special, never have I done this before, kind of crazy thing of daily NaNoWriMo vlogs. They will be called the NaNoWriMo Diaries, and I will be giving you an inside look at not only how I am writing these 2,400 words per day, but also how I am writing one novel while finishing the final edits and publishing another novel, because I will be publishing my 27th novel in the month of November while I'm working on my 28th novel. So it is going to be a crazy, fun, busy month, and I hope that you will join me on the journey that will be November this year. And hopefully I'll be giving you lots of good tips and information throughout the month, and it'll just be fun to see that inside process. So I will see you in my next video. I hope that your Nano prep is going well. Let me know in the comments how it's going so far, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.